Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew Keller, PDGA number 73421. I'm a Team Throwmorian, and today we're going to bring to you a segment that I personally like to call Dirty Discs Done Dirt Cheap, but you may know it as an In the Bag. Let's get to it. I carry the Prodigy BP1 V2. Why? I just wanted a premium bag and I got a good deal on this one. There we go. So we're going to start with the putters. I carry PA2s. I've got a couple of 300 softs and a regular 300, but the joke's on you, the 300 one is softer. These are just stable. They started out pretty overstable, but where I like to, when I'm well outside the circle, I'll put a little anhyzer on my putt, keep it in the air longer, and these still hold, these will still come out of it. So they've got a good stability that I like, and I previously putted with ringers. This was a similar flight, but just feel good. Just medium depth, give you a lot of confidence, and if your putters look cool, you putt better. Important pro tip. And let's see. Whew. The disc I want to talk a little bit about is this happy little guy right here. And that is the Archer. A little story about this disc. If I've got a buddy who came up from Florida. Oh, by the way, I should preface this by the reason why I'm telling this story is because I see this happen a lot. I play rec and intermediate. I see these type of players all the time. Who was just like my friend. And my buddy came up from Florida, great guy, solid golfer. He was like, an 890 rated player, solid golfer. But he pretty much threw about 4 different discs. He threw a Destroyer, he threw Undertakers, he threw Buzzes. He was pretty much predominantly backhand. He had a forehand he could use in an emergency, but it wasn't his strong suit. So essentially he had no right game. So if there's a hole that's going right, it probably wasn't a good hole for him. He was probably taking a buzz and just throwing it straight and try to get up and down for something reasonable. Probably not looking at birdie, not giving it a run. And so I took this disc, put it in his hand. We were on hole 9 at Winged Deer, the white basket that's to the right. I said, man, take this disc, throw it, put a little bit of hyzer on it, throw it right down the middle, 70-80%. He does. He hits chains. Doesn't go in, but hits chains. And you just see the light bulb go off in his head. Because he had a right game from that point on. So, I know I've seen a lot of intermediate players, a lot of rec players who just don't have a good right game. This thing can get you a good right game. As in the disc will turn. You put this disc on hyzer, it's going to turn. You'll get a right game by this disc. And you can buy these here at Throw More Disc Golf Store. They have all of your disc golf needs. But even if it's not an Archer, there's plenty of understable discs out there. So if you don't have a right game, learn to throw understable discs. You'll get a right game. Archer is a great one because you don't have to throw it hard and it'll still flip. There's Tersuses, there's Mambas, Orbitals, Sidewinders. And even somebody like me. Like for me, I throw max distance lines, 325, 350 on a good day. That's max distance lines, obviously. So I don't have the most arm power, but this thing will still be understable. And so they have all the understable, they have all these used discs back here. I guarantee you can find you something that's going to give you a right game. Something that when you throw it, it's going to the right. And then all you have to do is just learn your angles. Plus, it's all kinds of fun to learn new stuff like that. So, Discraft Archer. Yeah. If I'm throwing this disc, I probably don't want to be throwing it, but when I have to throw it, I'm glad I have it. More of a utility disc type of thing. If I'm not going to be able to get full power on a shot, throw in the Archer. Yeah. You need one of these, or something similar. Next up on my approach, I'm gonna go with my approach discs. I do carry a Pro D ringer. I pretty much only use this for forehand approaches. It's nice and flat, so that's great for my forehand approach. It's decently stable. If I don't pop it real hard, it'll just stay on hyzer and stay stable, but if I do pop it hard, it will stand up and go straight and have just a little bit of finish, which for me in my approach game, I use something stable and I'll manipulate it to do whatever I need it to do. Next approach is a 400 Prodigy PA2. This is my main backhand approach. And again, something stable. If I wanted to go left, putting it on hyzer. If I wanted to go straight, we'll throw it flat. Or maybe even put a little Annie and let it flex. If I need it to go right, I'm going to put it on Annie. And it's stable enough that if I'm putting it on Annie, it will start to flatten out, but it's not ever going to go left and come out of it. So, PA2, super controllable. Let's see, next up, well, staying in the approach category, next is a 750 Prodigy PA1. Not a PA1, A1. This thing is ridiculously overstable. This actually replaced 2 discs in my bag. I was carrying a very broke-in Justice that I'd had a long time. Of course, it was still overstable, but it actually had some glide to it. You could get it to go places. And I carried an MVP Entropy, which was about like throwing a rock, or a brick, but extremely overstable. And this kind of replaced them both, because it's so ridiculously overstable that you're not going to throw it super far. And it's just, you put it on hyzer, it's spiking into the ground. If you want to get skip shots out of it, you probably could. But A1, stupid overstable. You know it's going to do one thing, that's consistency, and that's what we like. So 750 A1, definitely get you something super overstable for fun stuff like that. To my mid-ranges. For mid-ranges, I have a Prime EMAC Truth. I've had this thing for a few years, it's really beat in. This is more my turnover mid-range. Again, I'm a predominantly forehand player for the most part. So this really just gets forehanded on a nice forehanded. It'll flip up, turn over. If I'm throwing it uphill, it can go straight, but this is pretty much my turnover mid-range. It's kind of warbly now, so I got to turn it around and try to find a spot that's not all jacked up, which I think is down here by his legs. Yeah, down there by EMAC's legs. So turnover EMAC Truth. And ooh. We have a Tim and Donna's Wedding Buzz. This thing was a lot more stable than most buzzes I've thrown when I first got it, but I've been throwing it a little more now, so it's starting to get some flip to it. I kind of just have this in the bag for fun. I don't throw it a whole lot on the course. I do like throwing it for backhands, like backhand hyzer, mid-range shots. I like it a lot for that. Forehanding, not so much. It's a little too domey for what I want to do, but everybody knows the Buzz. It's best all-around disc there probably ever was. You can use it for everything. Driving, mid-ranging, approaching, putting. You can do it. So, Buzz, you know the Buzz. Next, I have a Buzz OS. Z-Flex. This is more my straight forehand. It is a Buzz OS, but it's not that OS. It's just reliably stable. Like, you're not gonna have to worry about, again, I'm forehanding, so I'm not gonna have to worry about turning it over or anything like that. Hit it hard, and it's just gonna go straight, and it's gonna have a little bit of finish. And with Z-Flex plastic, it's gonna sit. You don't have to worry about a lot of skips with Z-Flex plastic. So yeah, good long distance, especially if I need something longer than the A1. This will definitely go longer than the A1, because the A1's, it's really hard to throw it past the basket. It just doesn't want to go. But this one will. All right, Fairway Drivers. Yeah. Carry 3 of those. Start off with a Champion Roadrunner, nice and broke in. This is my turnover fairway for 4 hands. So just pop it out, it's going to the left. It's going to glide to the left every time. Also low tunnel shots like hole 12 at Wing Deer, where you've got that low ceiling tunnel. I can put this on hyzer and I don't have to hit it hard. Just give it a good 50% shot and it'll just stand up and go straight. So low penetrating shots like on hole 12 at Wing Deer, I'll use this. Next up, H4 V2. It's just slightly more stable than the Roadrunner. So this will actually get some finish. Yeah, it's just a slightly more stable version of my Roadrunner. And so when I need something a little more stable than the Roadrunner, H4 V2. Next up is a Savant. For me, a Savant is more just a more controllable Thunderbird, I think. I don't think they go as far. Some people, like Debbie, says that they do, but Debbie throws a long way. As you can see, he's in incredible shape. So, but I think it's a more controllable Thunderbird. Just reliable. It's not going to turn over. It's just good and stable for me, slightly overstable. Won't turn over, just gets to the right. I can use something reliable too. And now to the distance drivers. I've said I'm predominantly a 4-hand player, but during this time of self-isolation and loathing, I have worked on developing a backhand. So I have backhand discs now. It's been a long time since I've done that. So I carry 4 that I predominantly use for backhand. One is a Starlight Mamba. This thing is not going left, ever. Don't try to make it go left. Well, you actually can. It's lots of fun to try to make it go left. Plus, that's really good for working on your follow-through when you're trying to work on your backhand. You can learn to throw hyzers by taking something stupidly understable and try to keep it on hyzer, which is what a lot of them have been doing with this. But yeah, it's not going left at all, even when you want it to. And makes for a great roller disc, turnover discs. If I get a tailwind, yeah, this thing's gonna be fun. So, Starlight Mamba. Again, if you don't have a right game, get you one of those. You'll have lots of right in your life. Next up, a Blizzard Katana. It's almost as, it's essentially as understable as the Mamba, but it does have some comeback at the end. So, yeah. Instead of the Mamba just continuing to go right, this one will actually start to flatten out, and as long as I've thrown it high enough, it will come out of it. So, super bomb disc as far as backhands go for me. For some of you, that could be a putter throw. But for me, it's a distance shot. Love it. Goes far for my backhand. Will never throw it forehand, probably. I have a super old Pro Katana that I use for backhands. This one I can get to go left if I put enough hyzer on it, have good follow through. It might get up the flat, but it will go left. So again, it's just kind of moving up in stability from the Mamba and the Blizzard Katana. And yeah, this has been passed around between me and Debbie Deal 1.0 a couple times. He used it when he first started. And yeah, it's still around, and I'm using it and loving it. And then my last backhand disc that I use is this disc. I don't know what it is. It's a Blizzard something. It's got a lot of dome. It could be a Boss. It could be an Ape. It's Blizzard plastic. It used to belong to Melanie Lutz. So if any of you Lutzes are watching this, if Melanie remembers what this disc is, or if one of you remember, I'd be curious to know. I don't know what it is, but either way, it's stable. Like, I can throw this thing into a headwind on hyzer, and it's not going to the right at all. It's not turning. It's going left. So it's reliable. It's reliably overstable for my backhand, and yeah, you need that. And then to the lead distance drivers. My primary big bomber discs for, again, I'm predominantly a forehand player, so this is what I use. Currently, I'm in love with the Destinies as my main distance driver for forehand. I've been back to this disc 2 or 3 times. This one is just a little more stable than this one. So depending on the wind conditions, we decide which one I want to use. And if I'm not bagging the Destiny, I sometimes go to Thrashers, sometimes to Havocs, for Champion Daedalus. I use all of those. Right now I'm loving the Destiny, so that's probably what I'm going to be using for the foreseeable future. Got a couple of them, and if I find some that throw more, I'm going to get more. Next up is the Champion Corvette. It's a 14 speed, so this disc in theory is way too fast for my arm, but it flies just how I want it to. It's 14.6, -2, -1, 2. If I throw it forehand it flat, I mean, it's just reliably stable. It's definitely not going to be going left. In a headwind, you might get a little turn out of it, but it's definitely not going to be going left. It's going to give me a good, reliable finish right. Probably where it's so fast and I don't have the arm for it, it's going to give me a good finish right. But the thing I love about this disc is that if I do put some anhyzer on it, sorry Debbie, I didn't mean to almost hit you. If I do put a little anhyzer on it, then it goes a long honking way. That 6 glide and that -1 turn come into play. If I just put just a little bit of turn on it, it goes left and it's coming back, but it goes a long way. So that's why I got the Corvette. It's stable, it's reliable, it glides long ways. Me glide long time. Next I have a Kong, the prototype Kong, now known as the Zeus. This thing's super pretty, look at it. I call it my sunrise Kong because it's so pretty. It's definitely the prettiest disc I own. But yeah, I mean, essentially a destroyer. It's just reliably overstable. I can throw flex lines with it. Mainly I just use it for hyzers. For my arm speed, it doesn't really care if there's a headwind too much. It'll still come back. You gotta have that in the bag. Consistency is everything. Also have another Kong, slightly more stable than that one. Since that one's my favorite, I beat it up a lot. So this one's a little more stable, got a little more finish. Doesn't quite go as far, but still, same thing. And last but not least, I have a warhorse. You need a warhorse. This is primarily used for forehand rollers because it's so ridiculously overstable, and it goes a long way on a forehand roller line. If you put too much angle on it, it's not coming back. It's just too overstable. Doesn't even think about it. So I like to use this as a forehand roller on the whole wing deer, or whole wing deer, yes. Hole 18 at wing deer. If you didn't know, that was a forehand roller hole. Now you do. To the white basket. So I'll use it on forehand rollers then. I also use it on hole 17 at wing deer on that, for the white basket. That right hand tunnel. Just throw this on a ton of anhyzer and it's so stable. It's just going to work its way all the way back till it fades towards the basket. It's wonderful. Wonderfully overstable. Sometimes I'll use it as like a fairway driver if there's a super huge headwind, Because Warhorse don't care about headwinds. Warhorse says, I feel something? I don't know, I'm just gonna fly and fall to the ground. And that's what they do. And that's why they're so wonderful. But that's all the discs I carry in my bag. If you're an intermediate or rec player, you throw about 300, 325, maybe you could use some of these discs. And they have all of them here at Throw More Disc Golf Store. So come, check it out. They've got what you need. Hopefully you had some fun. And hopefully some of you intermediate and rec players maybe got some ideas for some discs. If not, it's okay. I had fun. So thanks, Throw More, and come to Throw More Disc Golf Store.
What's in your pockets?
Huh?
What's in your pockets? Or do you want to tell?
Oh, junk.
Okay. Okay.
Think that was good? Don't give me that look.
Alrighty, y'all have a good
You're
one.
just jealous.
Thank you very much.
I'm
Yes,
pretty-
sir, thank you.
Playing with Adrian?
Yeah.
Don't talk to me
And we
like
said
that.
howdy.
I will.